Good afternoon, and thank you for joining our session of Future Forward. Whet your appetite, tight for what's new in QBO and the QuickBooks ecosystem. And thanks to our speakers, Liz Scott and Esther Friedberg-Karp. Liz is CEO of Accounting Lifeline, Insightful Accountant contributor, host of Happy Hour and Insightful Accountants QB Talks, and a multi-year top 100 Pro Advisor and award winner, among other things. Esther is the owner of EFK CompuBooks, right, Esther?
Yeah.
She holds an MBA, a CPB. Is that professional bookkeeping? Is that there?
Certified professional bookkeeper. Yeah.
There we go. She is an advanced certified pro advisor, a multi-year top 100 pro advisor and award winner, a contributor to Insightful Accountant. I think I left that off of, oh no, I said that for Liz too. And I don't have it on my cheat sheet here, but Esther is advanced certified in 3 countries, right?
Yes.
Amazing. So, and I'm just a little old me, Gary D. Hart, publisher of Insightful Accountant, host of Future Forward, and I will be the guy in the background posting the polling questions when the ladies tell me to. We would like to say thank you to our sponsor, Mango Practice Management. Mango is true all-in-one practice management made for accountants by accountants. Mango Practice Management helps simplify the entire workflow of modern accounting professionals, from the first stages of your client engagements to getting paid, and you all like to get paid. Our complete suite of tools includes a comprehensive timekeeping and invoice creation, document management and automation, secure file sharing and electronic signature tools, deadline tracking, payment processing, and integrations with your favorite email applications and professional tax software. You can schedule a demo of Mango now at mangopractice.com, and I will put that in the chat once we get things rolling here. A couple of housekeeping items before we get started. CP is available for this session. Just like all the other CPE qualifications, you've got to be here 50 minutes. You've got to engage with the polls. I think it's at least 3 of the polls you have to engage. And we will send you the certificate within, I'm saying within 3 days, you'll probably get it sooner. But if you don't get it within 3 days, certainly give me a shout. Or by 3 days, give me a shout. If you have any questions, we're going to ask you to put them in the chat or the questions panel, and a link to the recording will be sent to you afterwards. And it can also be found on our YouTube channel, and I will put a link to the YouTube channel in the chat as well. And slides will be available. I will put those in the chat as well. We do have a couple of polls to get us started, and then we will turn it over to Liz and Esther and let them wow us with whetting our appetite. So thank you very much, ladies. Go ahead, Liz.
All right. Well, I tell you what, whenever I was reading through here, your list of credentials, I have to say the very first bullet, Esther, I was like 3 countries that you're certified as a pro advisor. Go you.
Thank you, Liz.
I mean, good grief. And one of the things that Gary didn't mention is that you're one of my favorite humans. You're just absolutely brilliant. You are one of the best.
Mutual.
You're one of the best editors that I know. So being able to go through and proofread. So those are some things that everybody may not know about you, that you are just one of those amazing people that even the questions that are in some of the pro advisor exams, you definitely weigh in big on those.
Thank you, Liz. Thank you. Can you go to your slide? Because I just want to say, yeah, Liz is definitely one of my favorite people as well. Not only because I just love her, and she is a travel partner of mine. We've had a great time traveling in the girls group, but also because I always learn so much from you. So yeah, it's amazing. I don't know how you have the time or the bandwidth to learn everything that you do about all the stuff that's going on here in our ecosystem, in our environment, but you have your ear to the ground. That's all I can say.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Can we go to today's agenda? Okay, so today we're going to cover, actually, you know what? I'm not going to wow anybody. It's going to be Liz who's going to be wowing everybody here. We're going to be covering, or Liz will be covering, new features in QuickBooks Online's ecosystem, as well as a buffet of integrated apps to whet your appetite. So let's go. You go ahead.
This is going to be fun because we're going to go back and forth like Q&A style. So, common questions that people might ask. I love that, the way that we're doing this.
Good, good. Okay, so I guess we're going to start off with latest updates in the QBO ecosystem. And some of these things I haven't even used myself yet. I've sort of heard whisperings of it. And a lot of these have to do with the advanced product, correct?
Correct. There's two of these that are definitely advanced product.
So let's go. What's the first one?
So Accelerate. This one right here, I have to, let me go to this next slide. So this one snuck up on me. I don't feel like all of the updates are, big wows that get a lot of notifications to our community. But when I was working with a client and I was training them and I was teaching them how to add a new vendor, I saw the little camera icon and I thought, what the heck? So I went over and I clicked on it and it took me to this landing page. And what you're able to do is actually have a Zoom-like meeting with your client, and you just have to push that little camera and up it opens. But you don't just have to do it directly from inside of QuickBooks. You can actually go over to the website Accelerate itself and then have meetings that you schedule over there. But I have to say, one of my favorite pieces to this is the transcribing will
I was going to
actually create
say,
a file.
So let me get this straight. Not only can you record it like a Zoom recording, but you can actually transcribe it very much like otter.ai.
Yep.
Amazing.
Cool, huh?
It is super cool.
Yeah, and it stores it too, so you can have that history just in case.
Are there any fees for this?
I have not had to pay for anything. I have to confess, I definitely am a Zoom user. And since I pay for that subscription, that's where I stay. Mm-hmm. But this Accelerate feature with the transcription and being able to download it directly into a document, that feature is something that it wowed me. Yeah, I like that part.
I'm blown away. In fact, if you just go back to the slide where you show the camera icon. Okay, so I've never even used, so there's a little phone icon beside it. Mm-hmm. Is that it? I mean, I know it's probably been there for a long time. I've never used that either.
I haven't either.
So what is that? Is that does it show up there? Does it show their phone number? Like what? I don't know. I'm gonna have to try it.
Okay, somebody in chat is going to have to go figure out if you click on that little phone, what happens? Because Esther and I have never tried that. And it was the camera, I have to confess, that got my attention because It was like, what? So maybe Google that's the phone number that's listed. Okay, that makes sense.
It could be. Okay, it could be Google phone. Okay, well, that's pretty cool. It's amazing. And and is this only in the advanced product?
Nope, this is available in all versions of QuickBooks Online.
I'm blown away. I am truly blown away.
I was too. And this version right here, where you can go and you can talk with clients, that's free. So I didn't see, whenever I was testing it out, I didn't see a fee for it, but I'm not going to say that there's not a fee if maybe you were using some more of the advanced features.
And you can also, I'm looking at this now, and so live meeting notes, so that's the transcription, in-session payments, and a meeting summary.
And it would make sense that the in-session payments, that if it's like Zoom, it would require a subscription in order to be able to take those payments, because there's some back-end pieces of that are right. Admin that would be required. But Intuit bought Accelerate, and I think it was last quarter is when this happened, or maybe it was the quarter before that. But this is another one of those. I want to say what's happening is Intuit's becoming more of that business solution instead of just being an accounting solution. And this acquisition is part of that.
Yeah, well, what did they say at QuickBooks Connect years ago? It's like the operating system for small business. I can't remember what the slogan was, but that's what they're doing.
And it makes sense. It makes sense for us to be able to have one solution to help our clients with all of the things that we do. And I don't think that QuickBooks Online is going to ever be like desktop in the fact that all of the features are going to be built in directly to it. But I do think that there's going to be a lot of solutions that are like this, that you can have at your fingertips and use if that's something that applies to your business.
Okay.
It-
Somebody said, Kimberly said $12 a month.
Okay. And so maybe that's if you're doing more of the features.
Yeah. Amazing. Amazing. Okay. So what's next? Oh, I think we have a polling question. Do we not?
Oh, yeah.
We
Gary,
do.
will you?
I'm actually going to hit you with 2 polling questions. So if you are going to participate, do so quickly, just so we can get through them. And don't forget, you do have to participate to get CPE. So first one is regarding apps in my business. I need to build an efficient tech stack. I have a solid tech stack. I don't know what a tech stack is. I'm starting to think about my tech stack. You could be honest and say you don't know what one is. If you don't, it's okay. These are all anonymous. Well, that's not completely true. Actually, your responses are associated with your name, but we won't share it. All right. Give you about 5 more seconds. We'll close this one out, share the results, and then move to the second one that I actually just added in. So here we go. We're going to close it out.
Nice.
So almost half would need to build an efficient tech stack. 25% have a solid tech stack. 10% don't know what one is. And 24% thinking about starting one. Well, I think we're in a good spot here. I think it's a good mix of people. We already have people sharing information, which is great. And let me launch this other one. And I just added this while they were talking because I was just interested to see if anybody who knew about Accelerate prior to Liz throwing that up there. Liz, you're impacting lives by the minute.
You are. That's what she does.
All right, I'm going to go ahead and close that out and I'll share the results. So 83% had not.
Wow.
So there you go. Liz, your job is done. Drop the mic, but you have to stay around for at least 50 minutes. So, all right, let's see what else we have. I'll ask the next poll after you get through this next section.
Okay, the next one is very, very cool also, and this is for QBO Advanced, is pivot tables. So do tell.
This is another one of those features that I'll go ahead and spill some of the beans right now. One of the big topics in our industry, of course, is advisory. So business analytics, how do we get there? How do we deliver it? And there are going to be 3 different options that we're going to look at this deck today. And so pivot tables inside of QuickBooks Online Advanced is one of those solutions that you could use for advisory. So this is built in directly into QuickBooks Online Advanced. It's super easy to use.
Do you have to know about pivot tables in Excel in order to make use of it?
No, it's so easy that it actually generates based off of your decision as to, do you want to create a custom report or do you want to use one of their report templates to then generate that pivot table? You can certainly have a lot of customization options, which makes me also want to make sure that when we're talking about the custom reports, I don't know if everybody's aware of that feature, but in QuickBooks Online Advanced, they were listening to us saying that we were having a hard time finding all the reports that were necessary to help our clients. So if you haven't checked out custom reports, you really can create your own rows, your own columns. It has multiple features, it has groupings, and then based off of those custom reports, you can take those and then you can actually pull a pivot table based off of those reports that you've created.
Very neat.
Super cool. And so here you've got, you can start with a creation wizard, or you can start adding columns. And then here's the next one where if you decided to go ahead and start customizing your report, you could pull in what kind of data do you want to view. So maybe it might be invoices, maybe it might be accounts receivable. One of the ways that I've used this custom report builder is to go and look at AR aging and then be able to dig into some of those details to figure out, is there a particular client that this is happening with over and over again, or you can even have some fields in there to say, is there a particular rep that's associated with those customers? And so you can create these different scenarios because of the customization options.
Wow.
And then going over into the pivot tables, this is where it gets really cool. So once you select your report, this screen is showing that you've got some reports that are open and available for viewing. And then you can, up there at the top where it says pivot table, all you do is have to click on that pivot table, and it's going to open up a pivot table for you to be able to view. Let's see, I've got one open right here. So here's a pivot table that's open, and I went ahead and I wanted to look at a client to see what data did I want to pull in and view. Maybe I wanted to see ADP. I wanted to look at all 401k. So I wanted to make sure and verify. So there's lots of different reasons to want to use this information. But this is, again, all I did was use that pivot table icon, and it launched the pivot table using that data automatically for me.
That's incredible.
I have to brag on one of our peers. So Hector Garcia he's got a YouTube video, and the thing that he did with the pivot tables was genius. First of all, he created a report that was for year end for 1099s. So what a pain in the butt it is to go through at year end to look at each of your vendors and to see where's the account consistent across the board. So he goes through in this YouTube video how to create a custom vendor report and pulling in the vendors and the accounts, and then pulling in this report, and then he drops it down into a pivot table to be able to view the vendors, and did the expense account get coded to different things. So over there where you see the split, you've got the insurance and you've got office expense. So right away, he was able to catch that, go in, correct the bookkeeping before 1099 happened. Isn't that genius?
Well, that Hector is a genius. He is.
Yeah, I agree. So I posted that YouTube link right down here at the bottom, so that way we can all go pretend to be as cool as Hector.
And he's a sweetheart too.
For sure. That is totally true.
Oh my goodness. Okay, what's next?
Books review. So books
Hey,
review.
Not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. So sorry. Okay,
Oh, you're
pause.
kidding me. No, we didn't. We got a little off here. No, I have a pivot table poll. Basically, this really should have been written in, I don't know if it's past tense. Were you familiar with pivot tables? That's on me.
Yeah, but before this hour, were you familiar
Yes.
with
There we go.
pivot tables?
All right, we'll leave it up another few more seconds here, and then we'll close it out, and I'll share, and then we can move right along. Again, Liz, changing lives.
Yes. So you're going to go on to books review. What's new with that?
Books review. So Esther, this has been an area that you've been focused a lot in, the updates that have been happening with
Right.
training and certification. And I feel like books review is an area that, as the bookkeeper, going through and looking at the data, going through and monthly closing out the books, that's been really, really helpful. But now there's this new piece to it, which is the setup and the wrap up.
And this is bringing into QuickBooks Online some features that other apps are trying to bring to the table, but QuickBooks Online is sort of doing it themselves now.
I think it's pretty cool, because this is where we're, of course, doing the work. So, I've got a client file right now, and they've came to us for a cleanup, and it's a desperate cleanup. Like, they desperately need it because they haven't filed 2020 or 2021 returns, and their beginning balances are off. So one of the things that I'm going to do is go into this new cleanup tab. So if you go to your books review and you switch from a little drop down toggle from monthly to cleanup, then you're going to get this new piece, which is the setup. And you can actually adjust your beginning balances. So if your bank account, for example, isn't up to date or correct for that beginning of year reconciliation, you can adjust it right here. And then I like that potential accounts issues. So it's going to flag you that there's scenarios that maybe you need to go in and look to see, the account hasn't been active or it's been disconnected from bank feeds. Those are all pieces of information that are really good whenever you're, one, pricing an engagement, and then two, for being able to go in and quickly navigate into here to see what are those tasks that need to be performed probably right away.
So in addition to the overview tab, when you're looking at a new engagement, seeing how much work is involved, you also look at this one too, to give you an idea of really, what's it worth and what will they pay for it and what you can charge for it.
I agree. Yeah, I agree. So, that's a big one in our industry, is being able to say, how much do we want to charge for a cleanup? And a lot of it has to do with how much work there is. And it's not always easy to identify on the onset, how many accounts need to be reconciled, how many, transactions are there per month. So I definitely come over into this area and I look at all of those pieces of information before I price an engagement.
So we have a couple of questions here. A couple of people have asked for the link again to Hector's YouTube video.
I'll grab that during the next poll.
Okay, and Catherine asks, where's the offset going to when adjusting the bank balances?
So I believe, one, you get to have that choice. So right there where it says adjusting equity account, so you get that drop down to be able to choose that. But otherwise, I believe that it's just going to go to your open equity.
Okay. And Carol asks, what level has the review tab? Is it only for cleanup? She doesn't see it on the QBO Plus for the one client she's looking at right now.
I don't know why you wouldn't have that update, because from my understanding, everybody has got this feature.
Yeah,
Isn't that your understanding too, Esther?
I think so. I think you have to click where it says cleanup there. That's a drop down. I think there, that's where it would reveal it. That's where I've seen it in the past. Okay. Yeah, now Kimberly sees it.
Okay, good.
Okay. And Jean asks, is books review in all QBO? I believe that's for QBOA, regardless of the subscription level of your client, right?
Correct. So that's a good call out. So it is in QuickBooks Online accountant version. So it's us that has these features. It's not our end clients, which is great because this is the work that we're doing. So these tools are designed for us, the workers.
Exactly. Okay. I don't see any other questions on books review.
Because I can't wait for the next one. The next one, is juicy.
It is very juicy.
Talk about whet your appetite. I'm like, oh my gosh, this one makes me so.
You're salivating, aren't you?
I am. I saw this and I was just like, what? So again, this goes back to that business analytics, being able to meet you where you're at, inside of QuickBooks, and then be able to either work in Google Sheets or to be able to work in Excel. Oh, this one's an awesome feature. So what we're looking at is the spreadsheet sync, and it's an integration that QuickBooks built themselves. So what happens is that inside of QuickBooks Online Advanced, let me make sure that that one's clear, that this is an advanced feature, that you can use this spreadsheet sync to then export the data over into Excel, and then you can use that data to do various things. So I'll let you know that inside these slides, there are the step-by-step guide to how to, but I'm going to go ahead and show you. Let me see, show my taskbar so I can pull up my Excel sheet to show you just how absolutely cool this feature is. So one, whenever you go over into get started, there's some slides that will walk you through each one of those steps to get started. But once you're in, then you can go over into the spreadsheet sync inside of Excel is where I'm at. my company settings, and then you can decide which company are you going to connect. Or you can have groups, which means that you could have multiple companies that you export the data. Like, that's a wow.
Is that for like combined or consolidated financials?
Yep.
Wow.
And
That is
then
a wow.
because this is a sync, it means that really it is bi-directional. So if you go over and you want to export the data like I did here, so I exported the data and I wanted to be able to say, okay, let's look at AR aging in Excel. I was able to go over to build report. I'm not signed in right now, otherwise this would be active, but build report. And then I was able to grab that data, pull it down, push it into this report, have my customers' names in here. And then based off of the report columns, because you can also have some control over the columns, this is the way that the data is now visible inside of Excel. And you could do various different things with your AR if necessary. You could, group AR together. The other thing that I think is really cool is I was able to download the trial balance. So if you've got a QuickBooks file and you need to start over, maybe I've got this cleanup and they really have a pretty big cleanup project. If we thought it was best to start over, one thing that you could do is go over and grab all of the trial balance, and then you could post it into a new QuickBooks file. And because I was able to grab this so easily, I could grab it by month, I could grab it by year. However, and then, yes, you can sync it into a new QuickBooks file because it will import in.
That is amazing.
Right?
That is amazing, because the other, in another world, you have to do it using one of the other apps, an add-on app, which will remain nameless. What I'm interested in here, just go back there for a sec, Liz. What I notice here is that it actually says the currency. And every time I see currency, and my ears, my antennae go up, right? And I'm thinking, I'm wondering if there's a multi-currency application on this one. I'm not asking you to answer the question. It makes me think that maybe there is.
Since it's grabbing that information, I think it really would be able to pull that in here and then be able to sort. So, the next piece of this would maybe be to sort by currency, which would be super valuable for somebody like yourself who, clean up in currency. That's a real thing.
It is a thing.
The reason I pulled this data is, one of the things that you might want to do is possibly sync AR accounts. You can see that this client's got 9 AR accounts. Well, maybe that would be something that you would want to go and correct, or with the trial balance, whenever you're going into the new QuickBooks file, maybe you would merge those.
Right.
So, there's multiple different applications for why you would maybe want to start a new QuickBooks file based off of the trial balance.
Yeah, I mean, you can create any number of AR accounts. You just can't really use them using invoices and receive payments. You can only use them with, I think, general journal entries and things like that.
And whenever I've got a client who does have multiple AR accounts, and it just posts arbitrarily whenever they're creating an invoice. It doesn't even have a default. It's just kind of all over the place, which is gross.
It is gross. Okay.
Look at this one right here, though. This is the same tool, but what in this scenario, you can actually create the invoices. And then over here, you've got a drop down to say yes or no, post to QuickBooks. And so you can actually upload this into
my
QuickBooks.
God.
Isn't that awesome?
That is beyond awesome. That's amazing. That's like the batch transactions thing that from QuickBooks Desktop.
It is. And, there's some people who I could see preferring this over the batch invoicing tool. So people who maybe are more familiar with Excel, or if you've got a third-party solution that can export to Excel, then this would be a really nice solution to then be able to come over and format and then post it back over into your client.
My mouth is literally hanging open. Penny asks, yes, Penny, this is being recorded, right? Yes. Does it add an attachment?
Not that I'm aware of. So that actually was a question that I talked through with somebody today. And I'm not able to see a way to, because it's Excel, add in that attachment and then upload it. So that is something that maybe you could put a feature request in, but
Right.
I don't know of a way for that to happen in Excel.
Okay. And Jonathan asks, how does this differ from Genius Sheets? And I'm guessing it can refresh it everything with the new data, right?
Well, yeah, and then also this is part of QuickBooks Online Advanced, so it would be a solution that you're already subscribed to with Advanced, and so you know, instead of having another app, it's QuickBooks.
Right. Kimberly asked, will all these features be in the training for the research? We can't answer that. This is not affiliated with research. Some yes, some no, I'll say. Okay, next.
I do need to get one poll question in here, and I tried to get it in before spreadsheet sync, but Liz was so excited to share that we've got to go backwards here to about books review. Are you or were you familiar with books review prior to this session? All right, we'll close this out in a couple of seconds here and then turn it back over to you. And here's what we got.
And I do have a couple more questions from the Q&A panel. Oops, sorry, go ahead. 56% were familiar with books review.
All right.
All right. So Alicia asks, hey Alicia, is there a danger of breaking links between tables?
So whenever I flipped back and forth, I was able to choose my different companies, and I switched over so I could grab that link and threw it over into chat. Oh, I think yeah, to panelists. Darn, I did a bad job of sharing that. Let me reshare that. I didn't have an issue with being able to link back and forth with different company files, but you can see in the PowerPoint that you have the option to connect one company. And so it would be one company at a time. And then if you selected groups, that would be a different scenario. Maybe you have a client who owns multiple entities.
Right. Joni's asking, is it just Excel or Google Sheets too?
That feature is just Excel.
I have a feeling that will change. Just my guess. Okay, now we're getting to the app buffet.
Ooh, okay. So app buffet, I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. Since, let's see. There we are. So are you seeing my screen again, the app buffet?
Yes. Yes.
All right, cool. All right.
So let's talk about all these tasty things in the app buffet.
Okay, so Ignition, those of you who watch Appy Hour, you know that Ignition has been one of those solutions that I've been reintroduced to. So I had used, previously named Practice Ignition. They've dropped the Practice. I used it before and I really liked a lot of the feature set, but now going back years later and looking at it again, the thing that I have been really impressed with is being able to have my payments also inside of my proposal solution. And then I've also got different ways to be able to create my proposal. So there's templates that you can design, and then those templates can be something that you can use over and over again. And then, if you think about it being a template that's going to get 80% of the work done for you, and maybe that 20% is going to be something that you need to go and customize for that particular client, at least it's cutting down on 80% of the work by these proposal templates that they've got inside of Ignition. And you can either use the proposal templates that they've got there, or you can go and create your own. And this is just, getting started, how to go through. And then I want to share with you, previously, Ignition did not have templates that were designed for QuickBooks, specifically around setup, and then training and support, and then ongoing monthly services. So now there are 3 new templates that are in there that are designed just for our industry, and specifically whenever working with QuickBooks. And we've got uploaded the terms and conditions that are the QuickBooks terms and conditions. So everybody who is in the QuickBooks ecosystem, these templates are designed really for you to be able to quickly go in and use these to create proposals, send these off for engagements, and then repeat.
So one question I have, and I haven't looked at Ignition for a long time, since before they dropped the word practice. But one thing I was looking at was can you do those 3-level menu things, silver, gold, platinum offerings? You can do that all in one document.
Yep. And so in fact, so they've got a dashboard so that way you can see the activity, and then you can track leads. And then here's the templates for the various different services. And then you can see when proposals have been accepted and created, and the QuickBooks integration. I want to see, I really thought that it was in here. I apologize. But yes, you can go in and you can see the 3 different proposals. That's one of the options, is you can turn that feature on and it will show the 3 different options. So maybe you have a small, medium, large service options. And so you want maybe your client to pick that middle, maybe it's the best one. And so it's visible in the middle, but you're going to go ahead and let them see all of the options, because sometimes I think that the clients don't realize all of the things that we offer, or I think most often they don't realize that the things that they've got in their head that they want to be included, they haven't verbally communicated to us. And it is something that's an upgrade.
Like, oh, I see that. Yeah, we really do need that now that I think about it. So absolutely. That's amazing, because I didn't know they had that. It's been a while since I looked at it and they didn't have it at the time. So that's great.
I agree. I think that that's a feature that has been pretty new and a good one for our industry.
Let's just see. Kimberly says, Esther, I want your keyboard. Email me and I'll give you the Amazon link. Kimberly, there's also the mouse that matches it. Okay, what's next? Is it,
oh my gosh,
LiveFlow?
Yes. Oh my gosh, this solution is super cool. So we were talking about that there was going to be 3 different analytical tools, and this is the 3rd one. So the first 2 that we looked at, those are both inside of QuickBooks and they're part of QuickBooks Online Advanced. So the pivot tables and the syncing sheets, those are both QuickBooks Online Advanced features, but LiveFlow is an app. Now, one of the things that LiveFlow does that is pretty cool is it's Google Sheets. And what's nice about it is, I'll explain this slide.
Yeah, when I saw it the other day, I thought, what? So I'm glad you explained it to me.
So what this is this is a diagram of all of the ways that we have to update and communicate with our client and then update again. And so we are really proud of our version. We send it out to our client and they call and they say, oh, wait, I forgot to tell you, we've got to go in, we've got to change a transaction inside of QuickBooks. Now that version of Excel that we sent to them is out of date. So now we've got to push out to them the new version of it. And they look at it again and they're like, oh, I forgot to tell you, blah, 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 blah. And they email that over to you. So now version after version, and then you get confused on which version is everybody supposed to be looking at. So what's the latest version? Because, there's never an end to the amount of versions that you can create. So that's a frustration that's a real one for us. LiveFlow, because it's inside of Google Sheets, you're able to update that data live. In fact, that data is going to update automatically for you every 5 minutes.
Whoa.
Yeah, so if you get that phone call and you need to go make that change, you can just say, okay, that Google Sheet link that I shared with you, go check it in a few minutes, and it's going to have the live updates made in there. There's no additional versions that you have to send. There's no additional links that you have to send. It's the same link. You don't even have to go over into LiveFlow to launch it to be able to say update. It's based on the default setting is every 5 minutes.
Amazing. That's amazing.
It is. So this one's an extension. So you have to go in and get the extension, and then you connect your company, and then you create the live report. You can pull in, this is an example of using a profit and loss There's lots of templates that are inside of LiveFlow. Right here where it says manage report, that's going to be the majority of the reports that you want to create. You can go over and manage and customize. When you go to create a report, manage report, and create a report are going to have all of those, standard reports, profit and loss, AR summary. A lot of those are going to be in there automatically. So LiveFlow knows what you're looking for. It'll go in, grab that data, pull it out, and then it's usable for you. Let me come over here. The other thing that's really cool is if you wanted to drill down.
Yeah.
It's like this really cool feature that say that you want to drill down right here as an example of a drill down. Say that you've got this uncategorized expense and you're looking at it and you're trying to figure out what does that number represent. Well, there's a hyperlink that will take you back over into QuickBooks, because again, this is on your browser so you can see that data live in QuickBooks. Or the other option is to drill down inside of LiveFlow and you can see what's making up that number. And, it would be one of those tools that I would say while talking through these reports with a client, maybe this would be one of those that would be very useful to say, here's what that was right here, the expense, the date, and then any type of details, and then be able to go back and change that maybe later or change it live. However, but you've got right at your fingertips inside of LiveFlow the ability to look at it.
Wonderful. That's very impressive.
The template library, oh my gosh. So those of you who are big into dashboards and charts and want to be able to have some nice visuals for your clients, they've got some templates in their library that you can go and use those templates, and it walks you through. There's one a step-by-step that's written so you can follow it, and the other one there's a video. So you've got the tools to be able to go and replicate that with your client data. So you'd come over here, you'd pick one of these. I'm going to tell you the one that I find the coolest is this budgets versus actual with the variance. Like that's super, super awesome.
Well, yeah, because the reporting on budgets versus actuals is pretty limited within QBO, right?
Yeah. And the other thing too is this week I was talking to a client and they were showing me their Excel doc, and they had created some budgets to be able to forecast. Really, it was a forecast for their year. And the thing that was happening was then they would have to go get the live data. They'd have to move things around in their table. And so I was like, why don't we go look at this tool? And that way you can set it the first time. You're obviously capable. And then now from this point forward, because you designed it, because you were hands-on, you're able to understand your data, but yet at the same time, you don't have to go and fiddle with it all the time. It's just here.
That's wonderful.
Super cool.
That alone is a selling feature. Miriam asks if this is available only for QBO or can it also be used with desktop?
This is because it's working off of your browser. It requires you to be in the browser version of QuickBooks, which is QuickBooks Online.
Thank you.
But that's a good question. And here's that example of this is going to be your dashboard where you've got your charts and able to grab in, like the top 10 vendors. I think that's really cool. So you can see who are you spending the most money with, but then I would flip this around too for a lot of companies. And I would say, do it for AR.
Yeah.
I see your question, Jean. So which one, LiveFlow or Fathom? Gosh, I think that it really depends on what type of user are you. So, somebody who's an app connoisseur, I find that there's apps that have different features for different use cases. And for somebody who is, really comfortable with moving around inside of spreadsheets, this is the solution that I would pick for somebody. If you're somebody who really likes being inside of that app environment and has the reports capability and likes to be able to have the visuals that go along with that are kind of auto-populated, then I would say Fathom.
Okay.
Yeah. And so inside of the PowerPoint, you'll see that there's this link to this
Little
diagram
video.
that will take you through, yeah, all of these pieces.
I think,
And then
is
this
there
is
another-
just a fun
or
one.
did we miss a polling question?
Oh, I
like
don't
we-
know. Gary, are we behind?
No, I've just got one left. We're good.
Okay, cool.
All right. I would like, oh, you have something else to show us, Ledger Sync.
Oh my gosh. So Ledger Sync, you know, those of us who were HubDoc fans and then lost our HubDocs, you know, I've looked for, you're laughing, but
Long story, we'll talk. Yeah, go on.
I felt that way. I felt like I lost my buddy. And you know what Ledger Sync does is it goes out and it fetches bank statements. So you're able to set it and you put into Ledger Sync all of the credentials, and it actually has the capability of, if your client says, I really don't want you to have those credentials, you can, from Ledger Sync, deploy an invite for your client to enter in their password and username. And if they need to update it, they, you know, again, that can be deployed to them. But then it's held inside of the vault, inside of Ledger Sync, and it will go and it will gather all of the bank statements for you. If it's a bank account and you need to go and grab historical information, so maybe you're working on a cleanup, you can grab up to 24 months. Not only can you get the bank statements, but you can also get the transactions directly from Ledger Sync.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm pretty impressed with it. So you have a dashboard, and I will say this, it is one of those tools that you do need to know where to move around in order to make sure that you're navigating through it. But you've got this little slider credenza over on the side that houses all of your clients, and then you pick your client, and then you've got these various icons that one, you can connect your bank accounts, multiple bank accounts. And then two, you're able to go and look at the transactions. And then you can also have a bank statement area. And let's look at the other thing that they do. This is an example of the transactions. So you've got all the transactions here, and you can actually export out of Ledger Sync a CSV file or a .QBO file. And then you can do things with that data, like either upload it to QuickBooks, or you could view it and edit it in CSV if you needed to, and then upload it to QuickBooks. But you've got options if you've got an issue with connecting directly to QuickBooks. And then they have this additional add-on feature for if you've got a client who has handwritten checks and you want to be able to pull those in, or even typed out checks, but you want to be able to see the images of those,
Right.
that they could actually grab those images.
Amazing. Amazing. Looks like we're running out of time, and there are some more questions that we've not been able to even get to.
So
Yeah.
let's get to those questions. You know, the last thing I'll say about Ledger Sync is that you can also have a choice to upload those statements automatically. So if you've got, you sync it to your Dropbox or your Box, then you can actually hit the little button to sync it, and it'll go and save those statements for you in your various linked folder accounts.
That's incredible. That is really impressive. Okay, Jean asks, this was like, 9 minutes ago, does it work with Excel? So I'm really not sure what she was asking you about. If it was a live flow, probably.
And again, it's going to be one of those browser features that you would want to be using. QuickBooks Online is where it's going to extract that data from. So, but what you can do is inside of LiveFlow, you could export that to Excel.
Okay. Angie asks, she's looking for an app available in Canada that integrates with QBO for construction management, inventory, dispatch, time estimates, and invoicing. Do you have a favorite?
Well, so I don't know, and I apologize up front because I have lots of Canadian friends and I don't know the answers to this, but Jobbers is actually my favorite solution for service-based businesses. So Esther, do you know, is Jobbers available inside of Canada? Don't mean to put you on the spot.
No, I don't know. Because I really haven't done any construction management in ages, but Angie, reach out to me separately and I'll find out for you. Karen asks, also Canadian, what is the next best alternative to Ignition that does proposals and pre-authorized debits, EFT, electronic funds transfers for Canadian bookkeepers? The $99 US per month fee is not feasible. So do you have a next best alternative to Ignition?
I've used quite a few different tools out there. The other one, HoneyBook. So I think that they're $14.99 a month. The difference with HoneyBook is that it is not designed for our industry. So the templates that exist are more for consultants and they don't really apply to us.
Yeah,
so,
I've seen HoneyBook. Yeah.
So you can take payments there. The other one is PandaDoc. Again, PandaDoc is not really designed for our industry. So both of those I've used in the past, and the subscription price is super reasonable. You can take payments, you can take partial payments. You just have to design your own templates.
So Dominique says Jobbers, a Canadian company. Terrific. Renee says, with LedgerSync, can you pay bills in QBO based on the credentials your client put in?
Can you
pay bills in QBO based on the credentials that your client entered?
So if you're talking about Melio, because otherwise I don't know how to pay bills inside of QuickBooks, but there's that Melio integration. There was the bill.com and it's okay. But the Melio version of it, if you've got the credentials saved inside of QuickBooks via Melio, then yes, you could pay bills for your clients.
Okay.
I think we have the last poll. So do we need to get
Gary?
that launched? Thank you.
Gary? Oh, there it is.
Mango practice management. I don't know about y'all, but I love mangoes. And in Oklahoma, we really don't have we don't have good quality mangoes.
I'm going to check it out, both of them. Okay, well, Liz, this has been amazing.
I'm super happy that we were able to get together and talk about a lot of these advisory tools that we really need, and any type of other updates that have been happening.
Yeah, we just don't talk enough.
I agreed. And I love our community. So thank you everyone from our community who joined us as well.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep. Liz and Esther, thank you so much. Esther, I didn't ask you before, what's the third country for your certification?
The UK.
The UK. Okay. All right. Well, everyone, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for taking some time out of your day. Hopefully you learned a lot. I know I did. I think Esther did too. I saw her head exploding several times each slide. It was like, what? No. And Liz, thank you for both Liz and Esther. Thank you for all your work that you guys put into this. Super informative. Look forward to seeing everyone on the next webinars tomorrow or in person very soon. Thank you.